Thank you very much. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Csaba Krasznai, and I'm an associate professor at the Ludwig University of Public Service in Hungary. And I'm also the responsible professor there for the cybersecurity master program, but I think I'm not here because of my roles. I'm here because hopefully I can tell you some interesting stories about national cyber defense, cyber warfare, and the role of private security operations centers to protect ourselves. My research area is cyber warfare. I started to research that in 2008. And for that long time, I've seen a lot of things. And nowadays, I think that we are in, since 2022, from the 24th of September, we can see absolutely in Ukraine how things are happening, how military activities are combined with cyber activities. And we can also see that how the European Union is trying to manage that one. So this is the third time when I'm here at ITAPA. I was here first in 2014, representing a company. I was here in 2018, representing my university and talking about the future threats. And I'm here in 2023, and I'm talking about the presence. And the presence, I think, is not really something that is peaceful, I would say. I think that this drawing really highlights the actual questions of national cybersecurity, and I know that many of you are representing your nation. Many of you are representing a critical infrastructure. I know that this topic will be about the security of healthcare, which is also a critical infrastructure. And in this area, what I'm really interested in, and I think not I'm the only one who is interested in, how can we protect the resilience of our national critical infrastructure? And the answer is, well, it's quite difficult. Just during the last week, I could read a lot of news about critical infrastructure attacks. Like in Ukraine, last October, when the critical infrastructure, the electricity system of Ukraine was rocketed, there was also a high-scale cyber attack against them. Just during the last week, the United Kingdom's National Cybersecurity Centre has released its annual review, mentioning that the major threat for the UK is the attacking of critical infrastructures from the cyberspace. Also, during the last week, we could read a very good analysis from Denmark, highlighting that 22 critical infrastructures were attacked from the cyberspace. That was a Lockbit ransomware attack. So I think that nowadays, if we want to protect the resilience, the operation of our society and our economy, we have to have a very good cyber defense. But how? And lessons learned from Ukraine. This is a very great analysis. I recommend you to read that because it was written by Globsec and the great analyst Anushka Kaushik from Globsec. And it can really summarize the actual findings of the Ukrainian cyber activities, mentioning that without the private sector, we cannot really protect our national cyberspace. Without the knowledge, without the operation, what they can provide for the critical infrastructure, it's absolutely not feasible. In Ukraine, not just only the local Ukrainian security operations centers and cyber security experts were involved into the cyber defense, but also the large American companies like Microsoft and AWS and Google and so on was also involved into the cyber defense. Moreover, of course, the allies of Ukraine from the military perspective, like the US Cyber Command, was also there. So the cooperation between the private and the national entities is a must. And that is what we can see from the European Union's approach. So I'm here to tell you that get money, as much money from the European Union as possible, because there is a huge amount of money on the table nowadays in the Digital Euro program, which will try to strengthen that kind of cooperation between the military and the non-military private actors. Billions of euros should be spent for the security operations centers, and that will be also supported by the proposed EU Cyber Solidarity Act. And in that, you can see the European Cyber Shield proposal, which says that the private security operations centers and the public security operations centers, CERTs, should cooperate with each other. And that makes money. But what is which are the major challenges here? As you who might work together with the government, or you are working with a security operations, you might know that the major problem is information sharing. We simply, on the private sector, without the right access rights, we cannot get classified data. But how else we can get information from, for example, from the battlefield, if not from the military? So the information sharing is problematic, and not just between the private and the public sector, between the public and the private sector, but vice versa as well, because the private sector is also not really willing to share that kind of information with the governments. So cyber defense without information is difficult. Moreover, the critical information infrastructures are usually protected by private companies, by many security operations centers or by themselves. How can we involve the privates into a public operation? We tried that in Hungary during the COVID, and we have some examples that if we have a military representative at the critical infrastructures, it might work, but without practicing that, it's difficult. Involvement of volunteers. I know that one of the topics will be the capacity building in a country, but we all know that the best experts are working in the private sector. How can I convince a young hacker like you, for example, to join to the army? What can be the right message for you to support your nation and share your expertise with your national cyber defense? And the adoption time of artificial intelligence. AI is here, is absolutely here. I can just walk around here at the booth and see that the companies are now trying to sell their services with artificial intelligence, which is sort of artificial intelligence, of course. Sometimes it's just machine learning or less just rules which are sold as artificial intelligence. But anyway, the adoption type of artificial intelligence should be increased. But who are coming from the public, you know that public procurement is something that takes 3 years or something. So it really takes time to get the latest technology into the national cyber defense. And moreover, international cooperation. I was here more than 1 month ago and shared my experience together with some of my other foreign colleagues, with the Slovakia representatives, how to build capacities. But it's very rare, and it should be strengthened. That was the first time in the history of the ENISA, the European Cybersecurity Agency, where we could share our expertise with other nations. And that should be strengthened, not just on the field of capacity building, but on other fields as well. And I see a huge opportunity for that in the NIS2 directive. I know that a lot of wording will be on the NIS2 directive in this conference and other conferences as well, and that will be the major thing, because all the European member states should be NIS2, should have an NIS2 regulation until the October of next year. But I think that the interesting minor points can be found here, which are that. And I would reflect to that point of the NIS2, which says that among service providers, many security service providers in areas such as incident response, penetration testing, security audits, and consultancy play a particularly important role in assisting entities in their efforts to prevent, detect, respond, or to recover from incidents. So many security operation centers will be under the NIS2 directive, as the other point says that even the Commission shall adopt implementing acts laying down the technical and the methodological requirements of the measures referred to paragraph 2 with regard to the many security services as well. So they have to cooperate somehow with the governments. And this kind of governmental, public and non-public, public and private sector cooperation is, I think, nowadays the key for better implementation of the latest technologies and the better protection of our cyberspace. So unfortunately, what I see in the near future, cyber attacks like the one before what we could see, will be increased. Just in this morning, I got a lot of phishing emails to my official email address. Just during the last week, I visited the Security Operations Center and was being involved into an incident response, seeing a zero-day attack that reminds me always that, well, we cannot wait until something miraculously, magically will happen in the neighborhood, in the environment. The attacks will be here, and without a large cooperation, we cannot manage that. And the last word again to remind you, the money is there, so please go after the European money, because it might help a lot in the capacity development of not just Slovakia, but all the other European countries. Thank you very much for your attention.